86 potions of health on the wall. 86 potions of health.
If once you... Oh, hey, hold up, man. I gotta use the bathroom.
Dude, I told you to go before we entered the dungeon.
I didn't have to go then, so sue me. Jeez. Oh, look. An outhouse in the dungeon. Huh. Who would have thought? Hey, hold my shield.
What was that?
Oh, get off! Oh, his tongue's so purple and slimy!
You
Holy shit! Hey there, and welcome back to Tabletop Witchcraft. This week is a very fun collaboration video for something I put together and like to call Mimic May, where I challenged 5 other YouTube content creators to come up with any mimic they like and make a video, post it on their channel. So we've got Max DM Crafting, Zane Morgan Crafts, Nat1 Video, Encounter Terrain, and Chicken's Tabletop Crafting. I'll have a link to all their videos in my description below, so make sure to check them out after you watch this one. Now, if you want to help support my channel, you can also head on over to Firelight Fables Candle Company. TWC10 at checkout gets you 10% off your order, all the scents you need for your next tabletop role-playing adventure, and a small kickback comes to my channel. TWC10 at checkout gets you that discount. Also, questgivers.com is the new module that I helped put together. With them, you can download that. Really fun adventure. My website has a whole bunch of new affiliate links where you can get discounts to all kinds of crafting materials. Check that out at tabletopwitchcraft.com. Alright, if you're ready, let's go grab some supplies and let's get crafting. Alright, I love matching up my candles to my videos, and this was a no-brainer for me, digging through the awesome candles that Firelight Fables Candle Company sent me. Shape changer, how awesome is that? So we're going to rock that candle. You can see some plans that I've generated that you can download in the link below or on my website at tabletopwitchcraft.com to help you build along with the craft. I thought this was a cool technique for doing the exterior wood bracing on the side of the Outhouse of Doom. Instead of having to cut individual angled pieces, we do this out of one solid piece of foam, and it looks really good, clean, and crisp. If you're enjoying this video and my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. You'll notice a couple of the notches that are on the right side of this piece. This is a scrap piece of foam, and I decided to use this because this is an old beat up outhouse, so I'm not going to worry about some little chips out of the foam, and honestly it makes it look that much more authentic. Now if you want to brace this whole thing together with some toothpicks, you can. It doesn't really need it, it's not that big of a craft, so just some hot glue should be fine holding it together. But when it comes to some small pieces like this little post going across the top here, header for the outhouse, yeah, I did want to secure that with a toothpick. Now adding your wood texture would be much easier if you did it before you glued it together, so I would definitely recommend doing that. And the nice thing here about covering up all of our edges is just placing some of this thin piece of foam over it, and yeah, it makes the craft really kind of come together so you don't see those little tiny edges. Alright, now I consider this old wire cutter sort of a temporary or a yearly supply that I always have to buy. They always seem to gas out on me. Hot Wire Foam Factory was nice enough to reach out to me and say, you know, why don't you give our product a shot? So they're nice enough to send this entire kit along. Comes with a foot pedal, a temp gauge you can see there on the right, 4 different tools. This is absolutely amazing. High quality. I love just everything about it. The foam grips, the on-off switch, the ability to use the pedal, the ability to adjust the temperature, which you're going to see here in just a minute. Totally awesome. You can actually get yourself a discount on all of their products if you go to my affiliate page on my website at tabletopwitchcraft.com. Grab yourself a discount and pick up some of these awesome tools. Now, this is what I was referring to with adjusting the temperature. This was actually the first time I was using it, and I want to burn a nice round hole for my toilet. You can see the little block in the background on top of the outhouse. That's the rest of the seat there. And I didn't turn up enough, so a little adjustment on that knob, and we're now rocking and rolling. And you can adjust it just to the right temperature so you don't have a lot of smoke coming out, you don't have a lot of hairs pulling off of the foam. So much better than the cheap models that I have been using all these years. I wish I had found out about these guys sooner. So thank you, Hot Wire Foam Factory, for sending these along. Alright, now you can see I cut this entire top piece out of one solid piece of foam instead of gluing on small little, I guess, beams or posts on the corners. One solid piece of foam. We add our wood texture to it and you'll never tell that it's one piece. Alright, now the Outhouse of Doom is going to transform into that from the regular outhouse into this mimic. And we need to be able to place that little block on the bottom of the roof there. It's going to just lock into place and hold that roof on for us. We're going to do the same here in a minute for the mimic portion of this, which you'll see here in just a second. Using some tacky glue, I wanted to make sure I had that piece exactly where I wanted it. I was concerned using hot glue. It really cures quickly. So a little tacky glue, hold it on there with some pins, and that cures in maybe 10-15 minutes. Alright, now for the bottom here, again, I'm not putting individual stones. I'm going to just carve those like right into the base. And I did something kind of ridiculous here in a minute. I wanted to have this thing have a bunch of feet and some really kind of funky look to it, kind of make it look goofy. It was way too goofy, so I ended up not going that route. Alright, using the Shifting Lands shingle jig, I put this back on the Proxxon and shaved the bottom off so it was nice and flat. These shingles save so much time, and I love the scale of these. Alright, here is where I'm going to show you my creative process as we go along. I originally was going to have a curtain draped in front of this thing, and I did not like the final look, so you'll see that here in just a minute. This piece is going to be for now where the big eyeball is going to come out of the roof, so we had to raise it up just a little bit, essentially following the first half of the video where we did the initial roof. There'll be a link in the description where you can find these eyeballs on Amazon. And we're going back to our awesome new hot wire foam carving tool, and I was able to adjust the temp just right so it didn't burn a huge hole into this. I want to have this look like it was skin kind of stretching up and out of the outhouse. The great thing about this craft, I was able to use up a lot of scrap pieces of foam. Okay, as we did before, we're going to just hot glue this roof to that block, which will hold it in place. And we're going to put our shingles on. You'll notice some notches on the shingle. I did that to have them bend a little bit easier around this tight curve. And now we're going back to the hot wire knife to kind of carve that ripped, stretchy looking skin into the shingles. And I had all those eyeballs. I figured, why not? Let's add some more. Okay, that's some Das clay. I'm just going to glue that to the eyeball with some tacky glue. And keep this nice and moist while you're working with it. You have a decent amount of time, so don't worry about having to rush too quickly. See, I'm adding a little bit of water there just to kind of keep it flowable, I guess. Workable. Alright, here's something else that I opted out of. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. This was going to be the curtain that had turned into the teeth of the outhouse mimic. I put some glue on here, put in some parchment paper, I let it harden overnight, and I don't know, I just wasn't a big fan of the way this looked, so I ended up going a different route. But let me know what you think down below. If you're wondering where that doorknob came from, I'll put a link up above to my video on how to make those. And we're just going to repeat and make a second door, and this one we're going to follow the timber lines and just kind of carve some teeth out of it, snap them up, and don't worry about them breaking. They'll kind of hang on there. On the back side, you can add a little bit of hot glue to hold them in place. Alright, now don't laugh. This was my original concept. I wanted this thing to look really goofy, and that was just like over the top goofball. So yeah, we got rid of those feet real quick. I opted to go for this big tongue. So the mimic is stationary. It needs some way of grabbing its prey. So I figured, why not make this really big, large tongue coming out of this thing? And I was much happier with that look, as opposed to this thing bouncing around on those feet. But here we go with another problem almost instantly. How do we make the end of this thing look like a tongue? Go into my brown stuff. We're gonna, I guess, you know what? I just realized brown stuff for this video actually is perfect. I really did not plan that out. Just hearing myself, it's kind of funny. Anyway, brown stuff, we're gonna use that to make the tongue, the split there. I had a bunch extra, so I added these little spikes coming out of the side. It's exactly what this needed because it looked kind of bare without those. And I'm going to paint some gel super glue over the tongue. It's going to help blend the brown stuff into the wire. And then toss a little baking soda on top of that to blend it all together. It added a nice texture and made it actually look like a tongue. So I was real happy with that. Alright, these are our colors. When I think mimic, I think purple for some reason. It's just a color that for me is synonymous with the mimic. I don't know why. So this is the color that I decided to make the fleshy part of this craft. And just kind of working our way up lighter and lighter to the pink with dry brushing. Now, the reason I'm showing this color is this is going to be the color of our, obviously, dry brush for the shingles and the whole house, outhouse. But I'm going to keep that little bit of paint left over on there, and I'm going to use that to dry brush the purple. It really connects and brings the flesh in with the rest of the craft, like the shingles and the wood. Alright, little black wash over the brown. Taking what was left of that black wash, I added some Vallejo purple ink, and that made a nice purple wash for the tongue and the eyeball. And a very kind of heavy dry brush of solid pink really brought out kind of all the lines and stuff on that. Alright, and finally we're going to coat the tongue and the eyeball, all that fleshy color, in some gloss varnish by Vallejo. It's going to make it look real nasty and slimy, and this craft is all set and ready for the game table. Alright, I really hope you enjoyed this video. You know, remember that this doesn't have to necessarily be an outhouse. It could be a small shed or some small structure on the outskirts of town, or you can actually build this and add it to something that you've already created. There'll be plans in the description below to itch.io where you can grab them and it'll help build along like you've seen in the video. If you like this video, let me know in the comments below if you want to see some more collaboration videos like this where we get a bunch of people together. I'll keep that in mind for the future. And make sure to give this video the thumbs up, subscribe, head on over to Patreon. It's support there that really helps fund my channel and helps it grow. There's lots of really fun tiers there where we can hang out at night, live on Discord, my Facebook group, and so on. Alright, until next time, I'll see you around.